and welcome to WRPB and WRPB Studios. If I said it once, I said it a million times. If you're going to do something, always use a professional. And not only use a professional, but use a professional that you can meet face to face. Because when something goes awry, as it usually does, you have somebody that you can go to, somebody that you can talk to, somebody who's an expert. With me is Barney Rukin.
Rukin, yep.
And you are a CPA.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so my first question that comes to my mind is what inspired you to be a CPA? Of all the professions in the world, you became a CPA.
My mother.
Ah!
She wanted me to have, it's a true story. My mother wanted me to have something, a license. We were very poor. And she felt that if you had a license, nobody could ever take your living away from you. So growing up poor and having nothing and having a father that passed away in my teens, she wanted to make sure that she provided for me and I was able to provide for myself. Wasn't bright enough to be a doctor, just couldn't study. And sorry that I didn't take my law, because there's a lot of CPAs that were lawyers. And that would have been interesting. I would have loved criminal law also. So we do a lot of audits, and that's about as close to the courtroom as we get.
What? Okay, so CPA and accountant, what is the difference?
An accountant has not taken the CPA exam. The CPA exam, unlike the bar exam, 75% of attorneys pass the bar exam, 25% of accountants pass the CPA exam. When I took it, it was a really, I'm sure it is today, it's a really rough exam. It's a whole week, it's 4 days, all day. It was 4 days, it was all day, and you had to know your stuff. Then you became certified and licensed by the state by passing this test. Whereas you can graduate college in accounting, have a 4-year degree in business, consider yourself an accountant, but you never took the exam, so therefore you're not a CPA.
So would that be kind of like somebody who knows how to do something but is not licensed and insured type thing?
Yes, it's exactly. If you look at the people that prepare tax returns, they don't have to be a CPA. In fact, they don't have to be anything. Anybody you could prepare a tax return
I'll be in
and charge
jail.
for it. No, there are no, right now, there are no regulations that preclude you from doing a tax return. So if I came into your studio and I said, here's my information, please prepare my return, you could do it.
What comes to mind when you say that is you're about to give me Social Security number, all your information that's so personal, and I could be a nobody, or
That's
I am
correct.
a nobody.
And there's no regulations, whereas we're under very, very strict regulations. I can give your information only if you give me permission. I could lose my certificate if I gave your information out without your permission.
Okay, so like in the medical industry, they have HIPAA.
Yes,
Okay, in other industries, you have it's ethics. It's just basic ethics.
that's correct. We have ethics. So the difference between a CPA and a non-CPA is ethics. We have the society, and I'm in 3 different states, New York, New Jersey, and Florida, that I'm certified in. Each state gives me what my ethics are and the way I have to perform. I could perform in Florida one way, I could perform in New Jersey another way, and New York. But I have ethics. One, I can't give any of your information away. Going back to me coming into you, you could give my information to anybody you wanted. You could sell it in a mailing list, for example. There is nothing precluding you from doing that. I don't know legally what your recourse is, not an attorney, but I can't do that.
Okay, so I'm going to guess that businesses, larger companies, would prefer to use the CPA. Businesses who are concerned about Their information will be wise enough to use a CPA.
Correct.
Okay, and a lot of the mom and pops probably don't know the difference, just like I didn't.
Well, a bank, if you go to a bank, you normally want your accountant. Tomorrow, I'm going to have lunch with Valley Bank in Stewart, and we're looking for a line of credit of $500,000 for a client. I'll be with the client and representing the client at the meeting. And then we'll go into how do we present our firm to Valley Bank or Seacoast Bank, any of the banks down here. How do you present it so you get the money? The banker doesn't know you, so you have to put your best foot forward. So normally you have a meeting with the banker. If you go alone as the entrepreneur, it doesn't look as good. But if you go with your CPA and he lays out all the financial information for the banker in banker's talk, it makes him more comfortable that the numbers that you're presenting to him are correct and true. They're not audited numbers most of the time. They're the client's numbers. But he has a lot more confidence knowing that a CPA looked over those numbers.
You know, we were talking in the green room before you got on, and a lot of people have heard that accountants live this boring, crazy, simple. So we spoke in the green room, and you were everything but that. Okay.
No, we have. We've had crazy clients. We represented Penthouse magazine in the heyday for 15 years. We've had all sorts of crazy clients. We've had clients in South America, and they took us on trips to Rio that were unbelievable. I mean,
But I mean, I get that because I was in commercial real estate. So, like in real estate, you work Saturday and Sunday. In commercial real estate, working on Saturday and Sunday means you're on someone's yacht, or you're at a party, or a gala, or something else.
well, I tell my clients and they laugh, if I don't pick up the phone, it's either I'm asleep or I died.
Ah,
Okay? And the phone is strapped to your hip now. And you really have crazy things. I've had clients call Saturday night. I'm going to buy a car on Monday, but they have to talk to you Saturday night. I said, but you're not, the place is closed. You can't do anything. You can't make a decision. Clients get upset. You want to put their mind at ease.
Right.
So we sit Saturday night and you talk to the client of his options. Should he lease or should he buy? And this, you go into business and you take that all over. You guys met me through one of my clients, which is Mailbox Publishing. And they're one of the biggest distributors of magazines for advertising. And now they're converting to a media company. And they are a media company because we've helped them grow, and paper magazines are sort of disappearing like newspapers.
right.
I asked my children, I mean, we used to read the Times, the Wall Street Journal, Barron's. Most kids don't read that anymore.
No.
Everything is on the internet. Everything is digital. And here's a client that's moving from the paper into the digital age. And we've been doing that now for 2 years and helping him move from digital, get into digital, and make sure his costs are okay. And that's what he wants from me. He needs backup. And most companies really should have professional backup. What does that mean? They should have a good lawyer, a good insurance man, a good doctor, a good dentist, good accountant. And you cocoon your client surrounded by all these people so that when your client makes a misstep, and clients will always make a misstep.
Oh, we're only human.
Exactly. Our job is to make sure that he bruises his elbow, but he doesn't break his arm. And he gets back up on the bicycle and rides again. And that by cocooning him, we become a partner. Every one of my clients, I'm a partner. If you make decisions and come to me after it's done, I really don't want you as a client because I can't help you. You've already made the decision, you're committed. But let's talk about it. Let's take the pros and the cons, and let's see how it works. and let's run it through. And let's think about what can happen. Are we going to get everything? No way. Are there going to be hurdles we have to come? Absolutely. But when you're cocooned, we're making that bruising of the elbow much less.
Well, it's teamwork.
Yes.
Okay. We, in order for me to help somebody, it takes a village. Okay. We have 9 of us here, and that's my village to make sure that when someone comes here for help, I can help them. But like you said, and I use the term, don't confuse someone with the facts. They already have their mind made up. Okay. And that is
Perfect.
the hardest thing to deal with.
Well, it's hard taking a businessman who has an idea, and our forte is startups. We love startups because usually they're all excited, they're energetic, and it's fun, and you get on the ride. We did one in Pensacola that was a Air Force colonel, and he now does work for the U.S. government. Started out at zero, knowing nothing about business. We walked away from him mutually because he was too big. He got up to $100 million
No.
from zero and nothing about being an entrepreneur. The ride from going to zero to 100 million was fantastic. He bought a jet. I bought a Corvette. Okay? But we laugh about it because we have to teach our clients that besides business, they have to have a life. And part of their life is they have to have something, a toy. And we're unique in, and had arguments with wives. My husband wants a toy. Where did he get that idea? I said, I gave it to him. He's got to have something to break because you have 9 people here.
Right.
When you go home, you need something. When the girls in my office see me get upset, I'll disappear for a half hour, get into my car, race around, come back, and have a clearer head. Say, what was that? Why were you all upset? You have to have the same thing. A client just went out and bought a boat. That's his toy. And the toy doesn't have to be $1 million. The toy is just something to take your mind away from business. And then when you come back to business, you're refreshed. You can't be a businessman 24/7 all the time.
I totally agree. We're getting to the top of our time. How do people find you? You have a website?
There's a website. There's our best number is 732-946-3133. Ask for Stella. She'll definitely talk to you and help you and see if we can help you.
You know, everybody, before I go, I just want you to know, and I'll say it again, if you want something done, use a professional. I can't express that enough. And just don't use a professional. Use a professional that you can meet face to face. Because if something goes wrong, you always want to be able to talk to that person and get...
And a professional you're comfortable with.
Right.
If your gut tells you this is a good guy, go with him. Your gut, especially in entrepreneurs that are starting out, they have good guts. Go with your gut feeling.
You know what? I got to thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Everybody check them out, and we'll be right back.